There's about 130,000 people who are in these camps, internally displaced people, as the UN calls them. Of those, about 69,000 are in less than satisfactory accommodation. So that means they're not even in proper UN-erected shelters or tents. They're just literally under tarpaulins or under trees or in whatever they can find. So they're in a pretty parlous situation anyway, and then you've got this Cyclone Mahasen barreling in towards them. We understand it's making landfall right now in that area. The problem's going to be clearly not only wind and rain. Thankfully, the strength of the winds have looked like they've subsided a little bit from the peak predictions, but the storm surge is going to be a big issue because this is incredibly low-lying, both in the western part of Myanmar and over the border in Bangladesh as well. It's very low-lying. They're talking about maybe a 2-meter storm surge, which is clearly going to inundate these camps, which are right by the beach. We were there last November, and you know, there's pretty terrible scenes up there. A lot of hunger and want and lack of shelter and misery. As you say, these people have been victims of inter-ethnic violence. They've been driven from their villages, some of which have been burnt down. They're in these camps now, unable to leave, and now they're being told they should go immediately. The Burmese army has gone in with trucks to try and persuade them to go, but of course many of them are very mistrustful of the regime here and of the army.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that, about what was being done to help people. I mean, we've known for a few days now that this cyclone was on its way. We'd already heard about boats with members of the Rohingya community that were stuck on the high seas. We didn't know what had happened to many of the people on those boats. So what really effectively is being done to help people, even if some of those people are rejecting some of that help?
Well, I think they've really learnt lessons from Cyclone Nargis back in 2008, that devastating cyclone that smashed into the Irrawaddy Delta slightly further east and south of where this one is going to hit. This time, they've got much better coordination and cooperation from the Myanmar government, which has, of course, opened up, as we know. The president here, Thein Sein, is meeting Barack Obama on Monday, a sign of how this country is changing and opening up. So the political climate here is a lot better. They pre-positioned a lot of aid, shelter, rice and so on. We've been told here at the UN they've got 4,000 tons of rice in place in that area. That's about enough to feed 250,000 people for a month, so it's an enormous quantity. Already yesterday, about 38,000 of those IDPs had moved out of a total of about 130, 140,000. So a significant number remain. They are hoping that those that do remain will have left in the last 24 hours or are leaving right now. Of course, it's, you know, the later they leave it, the more difficult and perilous it gets to move because of the strong winds and the high waves and so on. So they're hoping people have listened.